hold on to your seat, or not your seat curve, you're gonna hold on to your tabletop position. Your arms are gonna come out wide like you're making a T. Press the shoulder blades into the floor, and let's inhale the lower half to one side. Exhale, use your core to lift back up. Inhale, twist to the other side. Exhale, use the core to lift. So we're inhaling as we rotate, exhaling as we lift. Remember, you're pressing that opposing shoulder blade down into the floor, using the core to create that rotation. Now let's go 2 more times in each direction. We're going to go 1 more time each way. And then when you're ready, we're going to bring it back to center. Feet come back to the floor. Double check that neutral. Ribs and hips aligned. Hands behind the head, wide elbows. Let's take an inhale on the floor. And on the exhale, lift the head and shoulders. Inhale, lower all the way back down. Exhale, lift the head and shoulders. So when you lift, think about lifting from your core. Remember, there's that muscle that runs right up your center. And you want to think about activating that muscle to lift the leg. We also, or the leg, the head. We also have these muscles that wrap around from the back to the front. They help to lift as well. Let's do 2 more. Inhaling as we come down. Exhaling as we come up. And after this last one, we're going to start to build our classic Pilates ab series. So head comes down, arms come to our sides, checking in with that neutral spine, ribs and hips aligned, legs go up to tabletop. So we're going to start by making sure the rib cage is pressing down into the mat, and then right leg is going to reach out in front of us. And as the right leg pulls in, the left leg reaches. So we do this all the time in bar class. You're reaching one out as you bend the other, and we're going to take a full breath for every switch. Keeping the rib cage, the lower ribs in particular, anchored to the floor. Using that full breath to engage. If you feel like it, it is an option to reach your hands towards your knees, float your head and shoulders up off the mat, and keep that flow going. Inhale, exhale for every switch. And we're just going to do 2 more sets. We've got 1 more set to go. And then we'll take the head down and extend the legs up toward the ceiling. So you might keep a soft bend in your knee because we don't want to rock the pelvis up off the mat. And we scissor the legs, 1 up, 1 down. Full breath for every switch. So remember, just like in a bar class, you can take breaks as many times as you need to. Shake it out, rock it out. Full breath as those legs go up and down. Keeping the lower ribs and the pelvis anchored to the floor. And again, you have that option if you want it. Reach the hands toward the knees. Float the head and shoulders up off the mat. And keep that flow of breath going. Doesn't mean that one of these options is easier or harder than the other. They're just different. So listen to your body 1 more time on each side. And then we're going to take the head down and the feet down. Give yourself a moment to reset your neutral spine. Hands are going to go behind the head for crisscross. So we're going to take a full breath just to lift the head and shoulders up off the mat. Then we inhale, center, exhale, twist. Inhale, center, exhale, twist. Keeping the head up the whole time and just passing through the center and then rotating to the side. Exhaling with that twist. So you have a couple of options to add on if you feel like it. One is just to lift those legs up to tabletop. And then the second is to add a bicycle motion to the legs. So we inhale to the center and then exhale toward the bending leg. And we're just going to do 2 more sets. We have 1 more time on each side. And then we're going to take the head down and the feet down. Reset that neutral spine. Take those legs up to tabletop. Anchor the lower ribs, and when you're ready, both legs reach out on an angle and then pull back to tabletop. Inhale, reach it out. Exhale, pull it in. You're reaching as far out as you can, keeping your ribs on the floor. We're going to do 1 more just like this. And then you're going to hold your tabletop. Fingertips lightly touch the backs of the thighs. And as the legs reach out, the arms sweep overhead. And then the arm pulls back in to tap the back of the thigh. So we inhale, reach and sweep. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, reach and sweep, just like a snow angel. Exhale, pull it in. We've got 2 more like this. Remembering you can take those breaks at any point. We're going to hold the tabletop, tapping the backs of the thighs. Last option. Lift the head and shoulders, and they stay up the whole time. Inhale, reach and sweep. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, reach and sweep. Exhale, pull it in. Just 2 more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull it in. Last time. And then legs stay in tabletop, head and shoulders come down. So for this one, I'm going to have you put the thumbs on the low ribs, put the middle fingers right on the hip bones, check that neutral alignment, and then extend your legs up toward the ceiling. So our focus is going to be on keeping neutral spine. So we inhale, lower both legs, but don't allow the points to move. Exhale, lift both legs. Inhale, lower both legs. Exhale, lift both legs. So your range of motion is dictated by your ability to keep those points quiet. Just 2 more. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Just 1 more, and then we get a break. So let's hug the knees up into the chest. Little rock side to side if you want it. Breathe, a couple deep breaths. And then we're going to take our feet to the floor. So feet are about hip or sitting bone distance apart. We've got the whole foot planted on the floor. Arms are at our sides. We're going to take ourselves into neutral. And then we're going to lift up into bridge. So from here, you know this one. We're going to take from chest to pelvis, the spine like a board. We're going to lower it halfway to the mat and lift it back up. Lower halfway to the mat and lift back up. So we inhale as we lower, exhale as we lift. And you want to think about using that Pilates breath. So inhale, core expands. Exhale, everything draws in. Inhale, core expands. Exhale, everything draws in. We're going to do 2 more just like this. Pressing those heels into the mat. Hold it at the top of this bridge and little tiny pulses. Up, up. Heels are anchored. The base of the shoulder is anchored. The head is nice and free. Breathe. It can be a little exhale with every pulse, or you can inhale a few, exhale a few, and we go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4 more pulses. And then you're going to hold it at the top. Now you have the option of doing a march. So you take the right leg, lift it up to tabletop, and then place it back on the floor. Left leg, lift it up to tabletop, place it back on the floor. So we're going to take an exhale as we lift and an inhale as we lower. You could also breathe the opposite way. There's no wrong breath here. So feel free to choose the breath pattern that works for you. But keep pressing those hips up toward the ceiling. 1 more time on each side, lifting and lowering. Last time. And then you're going to take that right leg, lift it up into tabletop. Option to extend it up toward the ceiling. And you're gonna lower it just until the thighs are level with each other, and then lift back up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Pressing the hips up toward the ceiling, keeping them level. Let's do 2 more on this side. Exhaling as we lift, inhaling as we lower. Then the right foot comes down to the floor. Left leg goes up to tabletop, extending to the ceiling, and we inhale, lower until the thighs are level. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. And just that reminder that in Pilates, everything is slow, slower than you might think, because that way we're guaranteeing we're working muscles and not momentum. 2 more. Last one. We're gonna bring the left foot down, bring it down out of bridge, and just hug those knees. Again, up into the chest, little rock, if you want it. And then when you're ready, we're gonna roll it all the way over onto our stomachs. You're gonna come all the way down. Hands are gonna come underneath the forehead. The legs are about hip distance apart. Tops of the knees and the thighs are turned straight down. Tailbone reaches toward those heels or toward that back wall. But again, you wanna make sure you don't reach or tuck so far that your glutes squeeze. So it's not a tucked pelvis, just a neutral pelvis. And then we do our mini swan. So we hover the head, the hands, and the chest, just an inch or two, and then gently lower down. It's an inhale as we come up, and an exhale as we come down. Inhale, hover, lift. Exhale, return to the mat. Keep that going. And really think about lifting from your back, right where your shoulder blades are. The head coming up is just a byproduct of the back doing the lifting. We're gonna do 2 more, just like this. And you're always welcome when we start a new move to look at it first and then jump into it. So we're gonna do mini swan with a twist. You're gonna lift the head, the hands, and the chest, hold it center, take a breath, and then exhale as you twist to one side. Inhale, come back to center, still lifted. Exhale, twist to the other side. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. So it's just like crisscross, but we're thinking more about crisscrossing, utilizing the muscles of the back than the front. So one elbow will automatically go up as the other elbow automatically goes down. Just one more time on each side. And then we get to lower down for a second, but we're gonna keep our neutral. Arms are gonna go overhead into a V position. I'm gonna scoot down my mat a little bit. So you're gonna take all 4 limbs and lift up along with the chest into that Superman position. We inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, bend the elbows, pull the shoulder blades in and down. Inhale, reach it overhead. Exhale, pull in and down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull it in and down. So the legs are active. They're lifted. They're reaching toward the wall behind us. We're going to do 2 more just like this. We have 1 more. And then we're going to do single arms. So right arm pulls back. Follow the fingers with your eyes. Reaches overhead. Left arm pulls back, reach overhead. So we have the exhale as we pull back. Inhale to reach. Exhale, pull back. Inhale to reach. Let's do 2 more on each side. The interesting thing about Zoom is I do the whole class with you, which I'm not used to last time. And then we get a quick little break. So hands under the forehead, release the body. Shake it all out, and then we're going to take hands underneath the shoulders, press up and back, and find a child's pose. You can just walk those arms out in front, release the spine, release the head, and just take a deep breath or 2. And when you are ready, we are going to come up onto all 4s. So we've got wrists right underneath the shoulders. Knees right underneath the hips, nice neutral spine in between that cat and cow. Let's take the right leg, reach it back behind us, turn the top of the thigh and the knee straight down, and we're gonna lift up until we feel the seat contract, and then tap the floor. So we're gonna inhale up, exhale down. And the reason we're exhaling on the way down is so that we don't just drop the leg to the mat, but we lower it with control from the core. Inhale up, exhale down. Uh-oh. Okay, I'm just making sure everyone was all right. So we've got 2 more just like that. 1 more. And then you're gonna lift the leg up until you feel the seat contraction and it's tiny little pulses. Up, 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 up for 8, 7, 6, 5. Keeping the spine nice and quiet. Hold it up there. Bend the knee, point the foot, and the right knee is gonna tuck behind the left knee. And then we're gonna press it up. Tuck knee behind knee. Press the toes toward the ceiling. And remember, you can always flex the toes themselves and make that Barbie foot if it's your preference. Let's take an exhale as we press up and an inhale as we come down. Exhale, press up. Inhale, come down. Let's do 4 more of those. So the exhale is happening on the press up as a way to prevent us from arching our backs and doing that kind of thing. So pull your belly button towards your spine. Last one, we're gonna hold the press up. You can flex the foot or keep it pointed and it's little tiny pulses up, up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the right leg. Find your neutral. Take your left leg back. Turn the top of the knee and the thigh down, and we lift up and squeeze and tap the floor. Inhale up. Exhale down. Remembering that you're using that exhale to control the descent of the leg. Keeping the hips and shoulders square to the floor. Let's do 4 more. We have 2 more to go. Last one. And then we're gonna lift the leg up, hold it there, tiny little pulses. Squeezing right where the hamstring and the seat come together. Breathing, maybe it's an exhale for every up. Maybe it's exhale 2, inhale 2, for 4, 3, 2. We're gonna hold that leg up there. Bend the knee, either point the foot or give me that Barbie foot, and tuck. Left knee behind right, press up. Inhale as you tuck back, exhale as you press up. Remember, you're using that exhale to remind you to draw those core muscles in and to prevent arching that spine. Exhale up. We have 4 more. 3 more. Last 2. Next time we're going to hold it at the top. You can keep the point or flex, and it's little pulses. Up, 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 up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. We're going to release the knee. Let's rock it back. Find that child's pose. Come off your wrists for a moment. Maybe roll your wrists around, roll your hands. Your wrists get a little shake out. And then we're coming into plank on our forearms. You're going to bring your elbows right underneath your shoulders. We're going to start on the knees. So walk those knees back until your spine is parallel to the floor. Pulling the heels toward the hips to your forward of your kneecaps, and find your breath. Deep inhale through the nose. Deep exhale through the mouth. And what we really want to focus on is keeping the head in line with the rest of the spine. So we're not dropping down or lifting up. If you feel like it, curl the toes under, lift the knees off the mat, that spine parallel to the floor and keep that breath flowing. Deep inhale, deep exhale. And we're holding for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the knees. Come up. This would be a great little water break or just a little shakeout. I'm just going to check our time. Where we're at. We have plenty of time left, which is good. So once you're ready to come back into it, we're going to lay on our side for sideline series. And the easiest thing to do to find neutral is just to line your spine up, if you have a mat, along the back edge of your mat. If you don't have a mat, you're just thinking about lining up your ear with your shoulder, shoulder with the rib cage with the hip, and hip with the heel. So once you get there, let your ribs drop down into the floor so that you feel what disengaged feels like. Relax. And then to find neutral, all you do is take your rib cage and give it a gentle little hover. You can see I've got this little gap here. It's just a little hover away from the floor. And if you wanted to be really particular, you could put on the top side, the thumb on the lower rib, index finger on the hip bone point, and you should be able to line them up. Whereas if you drop down, you can't. So there's your neutral. We're going to take the top leg to the bottom front corner of the mat, and we're just going to take a little lift up and down. Inhale up. Exhale down. So at the top, obviously we feel the squeeze on the outer edge of the seat, the hip. But the reason we're putting the exhale on the descent is, again, so that we can slow it down and so that we can activate those inner leg muscles. So inhaling on the way up, exhaling on the way down. Foot can be pointed, or you see me, I've got the Barbie foot going on. We're going to do 4 more of these. So lifted through the center of the body, breathing into that core. 2 more. Next time, you're going to lower your leg just until it's parallel to the floor. And then we're going to draw a small circle in the air with the leg. Full breath for every circle, so it's nice and slow. And once you get the pattern of the circle going, your focus is on keeping your hips and your torso rock solid still, so it doesn't move as you circle that leg. We're going to do 2 more in this direction, and then we're going to take it the other way. Remember, full breath for every circle, keeping that torso nice and quiet, still lifted through your center. 2 more. And then you're going to take that top leg, lift it up until you feel that outer hip contraction. And from there, little pulses up, 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 up. You can do an exhale with every up, or you could inhale 2, exhale 2 as we go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 more. And then you're going to take the top leg and lower it down. So we're going to work the bottom leg. You have a couple of options for top leg placement. You can bring it across and lay the knee on the floor. You can place the foot flat on the floor, or you can place the foot behind you. It's just a preference thing. I like to have my foot in front and lay it flat. The bottom leg is going to straighten. Ribs lift back up, so we're back in that neutral. And now it's the bottom leg that lifts up, and then it hovers just above the floor. So this time we're going to exhale as we lift up, inhale as we lower down, and we're exhaling as we lift to contract the lower abdominals, to engage the inner thigh. So there's a little squeeze right at the top of your lift. And just like we do in class, if you wanted to or needed to, you could put a small folded towel underneath your hip. If it digs into the floor, I'm on carpet, which is easy, but if you're on hard surface, you would maybe want a cushion under there. We're going to do 2 more slow lifts, exhaling as we go up, inhaling as we lower, And then you're going to lift up, and you're going to find little tiny pulses from your inner thigh. Little tiny ups. Maybe it's an exhale with every up. Maybe it's inhale 2, exhale 2, and we go for 8, 7, 6, 5. We're going to hold it at the top, and we're going to draw tiny little circles. So you're keeping the lift intact the whole time and thinking of drawing with your heel, maybe a silver dollar sized circle. 2 more in this direction, and then reverse it. Emphasize the lift. Take a full breath for every circle. I don't know about you, but my inner thigh is burning. 2 more, and release the bottom leg. So bend the bottom leg, take the top leg, place it over the bottom leg. We're going to go into side plank. So you're going to come up onto that bottom forearm, elbows underneath the shoulder. Take a moment, make sure you're pressing the floor away with that forearm, lifting through your ribs. Reach the free hand up toward the ceiling. Maybe lift the hips up off the floor. Maybe the top leg comes out. Maybe both legs come out. Wherever you land, lift the hips and breathe strong into your center for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. We're just going to flip around and go to the other side for side line. So I just whacked my elbow into the wall. We're going to line that spine up along the back edge of the mat if we have one. Otherwise, stacking ear, shoulder, rib, hip. Taking that moment just to release and disengage so that you feel the difference. And then lifting up the rib cage, connecting the ribs and the hips together. Top leg goes to the bottom front corner of the mat. And when you're ready, we lift up, find the squeeze in the outer hip, and lower with control. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Remember, you're keeping your knee and the top of your thigh pointing straight ahead. So try not to turn it up toward the ceiling. It's not wrong. It's just a different exercise and it activates different muscles. So think of lifting from the side of your hip. Inhale on the way up, exhale on the way down. Keeping that lift in your core. How about 2 more of these? And then you're going to take that leg parallel to the floor, and we're going to draw that circle in the air. Remembering to take a full breath for every circle, so the circle should feel somewhat slow. And then once you've got the circle going, it's all about pelvis quiet, torso quiet, controlling the center of the body. So we have 2 more in this direction. And then we'll simply reverse the direction of the circle. And you might notice that my circle, your circle, someone else's circle, they're all different sizes. The size of your circle is determined by that core control. So if you notice your core is rocking, make that circle smaller. Find that control. We have 2 more circles. And then we're going to take that leg, lift it up until we find the outer seat, and it's little tiny pulses. And I'm going to make some faces here because my outer hip is burning. You have your mics off. You can say whatever you want right now. We go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release that top leg. Remember, you can tap with the fist to release the muscles if you need. And then we're going to take that top leg across. So remember your options. Knee down, foot flat in front, or foot behind. Totally up to you. I'm going foot flat in front. Extend the bottom leg. Take a moment, lift up through your center. And then that bottom leg does a lift and squeeze. And then it comes down just to a hover. So let's go exhale, lift and squeeze. Inhale to a hover. Exhale, lift and squeeze. Inhale to a hover. So you're engaging your core when you lift, but you're also engaging that inner thigh. I would love to hear from you in the next day or so. Tell me where you're feeling sore in a good way. Please tell me also if you feel sore in any other way, but hopefully you won't, because I know you guys are beautiful with form. Let's hold that leg up there, and let's take little tiny pulses from the inner thigh. But I'd love to know which part of this class gets you the most in the next day or so. I know I will be feeling it probably in my outer and inner leg. Let's go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. 2 more pulses. We're going to hold that leg up there, and then it's that tiny silver dollar-sized circle, emphasizing the little lift at the top of the circle, taking a nice full breath for every circle. When you're ready, just reverse its direction. Take it the other way. Find that squeeze right at the top. Holy burn. Let's go 4 and 3 and 2. Last one, release the bottom leg. Release the top leg. Bend both knees. Come up on that bottom forearm. Elbows right underneath the shoulder. Press the earth away. Lift the free arm. Maybe it's just the hips that come up. Maybe top leg goes out. Maybe both legs go out. Lift through the hips. Breathe into the core. And hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. Take a quick little break. Let me just check time. We're doing great. So we're going to do one more plank. We've done front plank or standard plank. We've done side plank. We're going to do a reverse plank to finish off. You're going to come into a seated position. We've done this before in bar. You're going to take your hands and make little L's with them. Bring them right out in front of you. And then simply sweep them straight back. So your thumbs should be pointing towards your feet. Your forefingers are kind of angled out toward the corners in front of you. Roll your shoulders back, open up the chest. Walk those feet in until you can press them into the floor. So option 1 is just a hover of your hips, couple inches up off the floor. We're pushing down through the heels of the hands, opening the chest, engaging the core. Nice inhale and exhale. Option 2, if you want it, is to lift the hips up. They call this a reverse tabletop position. So if you have the neck strength, this always bothers my neck. You can bring the head in line with the spine. If not, it's chin toward chest, which is my preference. Breathing strong into that core. And then final option, if you want it, you can extend your legs out, coming to the outer edges of your feet, and simply press those hips up nice and high. And I'm going to count you down. I've got to take some iCloud stuff off of my screen really quickly. So we have 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and the hips come down, and we'll shake the arms out. So let's stay seated. Let's take the legs out in front of us. If your hamstrings are tight, you can always have a bend in your knee. Spine is nice and long. Arms are out in front. We're going to take an inhale, exhale, roll the shoulders back and down. So let's inhale here. It's like you're sitting up against an imaginary wall. Keep breathing. Let's take a moment and just imagine that wall. Head, shoulders, ribs, and hips. They all touch the wall. So now we take an inhale, sitting tall. And on the exhale, you're going to round forward. As you round, scoop and hollow out your center. Inhale, reach towards your feet. Find a stretch. And then exhale, go through that C curve, that scoop and hollow, to roll it up. Let's take an inhale, sit up against that wall. Exhale, round forward, scoop and hollow into your belly. Inhale, reach and stretch it out. Exhale, roll it up. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale, super tall. Exhale, scoop and hollow. Inhale, reach for the feet. Exhale, roll it up. Let's do one more. Inhale, super tall. Exhale, round it forward. Inhale, reach and stretch. And exhale, roll it up. So take your hands back behind you, just like we did for that reverse plank. Bend your knees. And just take your right ankle and cross it over your left thigh. Once you're there, pull your right heel a little closer to you. And then use your hands to walk your chest in toward your leg. This is just our figure four, another way of doing it. If you wanted to, you could always come down on your back and do it the traditional way. And it's just going to open up that outer hip. You can close your eyes. You can also get a bonus chest opener here if you press through the heels of the hands and let the chest come forward. 3. And then take that left foot, walk it out away from you, cross to the other side. So right heel comes in a little closer. Use the hands, walk the chest toward the legs. Feel free to say ouch. This is my tight side. And then open up that chest. Remembering you always have the option of laying down on your back. Breathe. And then release that right heel out. Take the soles of the feet together. Allow your knees to open. It does not matter at all how far they open. We're going to take the hands underneath the ankles and use them to sit up a little taller. So keeping the length in your spine, you're just going to hinge forward. And you'll see I don't go very far at all. Hips tend to be tight in this position. So we're breathing as we keep that spine long, and you can use those hands that are on your ankles to help you. One more breath in this long spine. And then we just get to release it over. The neck relaxes, arms relax, deep breaths. And this is nice not only for your hips, but for your back as well. And then when you're ready, use your core, gently roll it up, and just find a comfortable seated position, whatever that is for you. We'll close our eyes. Let's roll the shoulders a few times. Inhale, bring the shoulders up by the ears. Exhale, take them back and down. Inhale, draw it up. And exhale, back and down. Let's do that one more time. Release the shoulders back and down. And then gently bring your chin forward toward your chest without allowing your shoulders to round. So your shoulders are still opening as that chin comes toward the chest. Breathe, let gravity do its thing. And then lift the head and let the right ear come over toward the right shoulder. Breathe here. Go ahead and switch sides. Ear goes over toward the shoulder. And then when you're ready, head lifts up, sitting tall. We can keep our eyes closed. We're just going to go back into that Pilates breath. So take a deep inhale, let your core muscles expand. And then on the exhale, think of hugging those core muscles in all the way from your chest down to your pelvis. Inhale, everything expands. Exhale, draw it all in. Inhale, everything opens. Exhale to close. Let's do that 2 more times. Got one more really nice, big, deep breath. And relax. I'm going to crawl over to the computer and turn your mics back on.